This is the Rich Report, bringing you the richest content across entertainment. My name is Cameron Richardson. Welcome back to the channel. Joining me to discuss NXT Takeover in your house, David Church. David, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. A decent night of pay-per-view on the other side of combat sports, if you want to call it, for WWE. It was a good night. I enjoyed the show.
It was a fun night. Short, but it delivered what most pro wrestling fans wanted. I think it had something for everybody. We're going to start it off. Finn Balor and Damien Priest. David, I want your thoughts, because you told me yesterday that you were not a big believer of Damien Priest and his character. Why don't you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Damien Priest is a great worker. Like, he is great in the ring, can do things that a lot of guys can't. He's got size. He's got the look a little bit, but I don't feel a lot of connection in the character. I don't understand who Damien Priest is. Is he just this random dude who has a deep voice and just says random things? Like, I just don't see a lot of connection in it. That's the only thing. But that match between him and Finn Balor was a good match. It was a pretty good, secondary match, because we had the opener with the six woman tag, which was a good, opening contest to kind of get the energy up. But I think Damien Priest definitely can, not to the level of a Baron Corbin heel level, but definitely can play that role if he needs to. But I think the big story is Finn Balor. It's unfortunate that he has to go down to NXT just to be used properly. He is an incredible performer. He connects with fans, whether he's playing the good guy or the bad guy. Balor definitely should be up on top of NXT when it comes to that point, but I think Damien Priest is good in the mid-card level. Maybe another rivalry with the North American Championship, whoever's holding it. But it was a great fight. It was a great match, and I think Balor is definitely someone to look forward to in the NXT, especially with the number of guys he could eventually face. I pray to God that we get an Adam Cole match soon. That would be amazing. But other than that, it was a good match.
Yeah, I mean, Priest's gimmick, it reminds me of the villain from Princess and the Frog, if you've seen that film. It's sort of like this voodoo type of thing going on. It's a little bit weird when it's not in ring. It's better when it's in ring and he has his nightstick and he's doing all that. But outside, I'm sort of confused. I'm like, all right, who are you? Like, I don't know what this is. Yeah, Balor. I mean, Balor's gonna be great anywhere. I don't know what kind of Balor we're getting, because he's not doing the same entrance that he used to do. I don't know, just because we have no crowds, but he's been doing it even when we had crowds. Is this NXT sort of that thing where it's like, okay, are these heels? Are they faces? It's sort of the same thing with AEW as well. I couldn't distinguish the heels aside from MJF and then from the faces in AEW. Like, it's difficult to decipher, but I think that's a good thing too, because you don't want obvious heels and you don't want obvious faces. I think being that anti-hero is really good for pro wrestling.
Yeah, that's true. I think the anti-hero is a classic pro wrestling gimmick we've seen. Stone Cold Steve Austin was the best at it. We've seen Becky Lynch kind of play into that before. So I think it could work, but eventually we just gotta, wait and see what happens with, how WWE lasts these things. As long as Triple H is involved in NXT and Vince McMahon is nowhere near NXT will be fine. I'm still not a big Vince McMahon fan. So, but like I said, again, great show, good performances, and I mean, I want Keith Lee to be my dad. Like, let's just put it out there. Keith Lee is one of the best performers in wrestling right now. It is so good. What he can do at his size is incredible.
Yeah, to me, the booking seemed a little bit off, because I just don't think Gargano does better against bigger guys who are more his size. Adam Cole's classic trilogy with those two, the Ciampa fights, those were all phenomenal. And then you get Keith Lee, who's sort of the bigger guys. I just don't think it works as well. There were some great moments, but overall, it wasn't the Gargano matches that we've been accustomed to seeing over the last couple of years. But still, nonetheless, a very entertaining watch. Now, one thing that still kind of throws me off that I talked about yesterday on Sunday was the cinematic match gimmick. I love it when it's a character that has mystique and there's an aura around them. Undertaker with AJ Styles, perfect. The Fiend, the Firefly Funhouse match, perfection. But when I want to watch an Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream match, I want that in person. I want it live. I get that we can try different things with no fans in attendance, but at the same time, I just want a good old classic match between Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream. Is that too much to ask? The guys are already talented enough in ring. They don't need to have this, cinematic gimmick to it when they could just put on a phenomenal 5-star match live and in that ring. And then don't get me started because it annoys me because now it's the running thing of, okay, the Undisputed Era just comes in and they help out Cole and then Cole's going to win. It's just become so obvious now where I'm like, Cole, just let Cole be Adam Cole. When it's Adam Cole by himself, just let it be Adam Cole. If he wants to come interfere for somebody else, one of the other members of Undisputed Era in a singles match, fine. But just leave Adam Cole by himself. So, David, what was your thoughts on this match?
I definitely agree with what you said about, the cinematic match style. But I think, when you're putting up Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole together, whatever you get is gonna be great. But the biggest thing was that Velveteen Dream, half of him is his in-ring work, and the other half is his aura and his entrance. If you take that entrance away from him, kind of the mystique and like the presence about him, I feel like kind of gets diminished a bit because he's such a good showman. And it's almost better. He's almost better as a heel than he is as a face. He's almost better as being, the cocky bad guy than being the good guy. But in this position, I think it works a little bit. An example that I think that it doesn't work is Johnny Gargano as heel. I can't buy into that. I can't buy into him as the small little guy being this mean guy. Like, it doesn't work. Johnny Gargano is a born good guy and has to be that way. He has to be the underdog at all times. But with Adam Cole in the Undisputed Era, it's still the best faction in wrestling right now. I mean, you can make the argument about, the factions, the multiple factions they got in AEW, whether it's the Inner Circle or it's, the Elite, but I think Undisputed Era, just they all work really well together. And I think a good point to what you said is like, constantly, coming in and interfering in matches. Wait for that time when they come and do it, but then whoever's facing him overcomes that and wins. That's going to be, I think that's what they're building up to. Because like you said, it is repetitive. You do see it a lot, but then there's going to be that one time where you see, oh man, they're interfering and Adam Cole's just going to win. But then you don't see it coming when whoever he's facing, it's not going to be Velveteen by any time soon because the stipulation was if he lost, he wouldn't get another shot. But whoever it is, it's going to be big. It's going to be a big pop, and it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, and what I love, the one thing that's like saving that is I freaking love Dexter Loomis. Dexter Loomis is great. The guy is an animal when it comes to his work in the ring, and then his whole gimmick, this whole like nightmarish, like serial killer-esque gimmick is really, really entertaining to watch. And the guy is going to be a star, as well as the guy that's now taking over NXT entirely and turned Tommaso Ciampa into a jobber of sorts, Karrion Kross. David, I've said it before. I am all over this guy. I love his entrance. Scarlett Bordeaux is great, although I want to see her perform in ring as well in matches in the future. But this guy, Karrion Kross, I mean, he's a sight to behold.
Yeah, funny story. I thought, Dexter Loomis and Karrion Kross were the same person for a bit until I finally realized, oh, those are two separate people. They just got different mustaches. But it's just, Karrion Kross is a different kind of character, man. Like, it's in the same category as like an Undertaker or something like that, but it's different. There's something different about it, and it works. Like, I think a big reason why it works so well is Scarlett Bordeaux by his side. I think that definitely brings a different feel to it. And Karrion Kross is definitely going to be someone to watch. I'm I think he needs a little bit more time to just really, really develop the character. He already has it down, but just needs more time to develop it into an NXT style character and then eventually a WWE character. And I think he definitely can do that. And I think he definitely could be the megastar that, they've been kind of waiting for, because now with, Matt Riddle is no longer in NXT. He's getting apparently called up to SmackDown now. Keith Lee is probably on, is going to be picked up soon, because how can you keep that kind of guy down? So I think Karrion Kross definitely can be a guy to kind of carry the banner for NXT. And Tommaso Ciampa, I think they should have just at least another match to kind of make it a real match and not just show off how dangerous Karrion Kross is. Let it be a competition. Like, a squash match is a squash match, but I want to see real competition. If a guy's going to be that good, it's got to be a match that elevates him to that level.
Yeah, I mean, whenever crowds can return, I mean, the pop that Kross is going to get is going to be absolutely wild. I was already in my living room for that match just screaming, "Fall and pray." It's great. Everything about that entrance is just top notch, and I'm really excited.
Has Fall and Pray become the new Let Me In for you? Is that what's happening?
Pretty much.
Oh,
all right, we're going to close this talking about finally getting her due. Io Shirai is the new NXT Women's Champion. Don't get me started on why Charlotte Flair was NXT Champion for the time that she was. Why? I don't get it. And then we have the running joke now with me and my brother, and I think a lot of people now, it's sort of become a meme that Vince just wants Charlotte Flair everywhere, because there's not one Monday or Wednesday or Friday, and then throw on the pay-per-view as well, where you do not see Charlotte Flair's face. It's what Becky Lynch, we all think Becky Lynch is, but then it's Charlotte Flair once again. So I don't see I don't see what's so amazing about Charlotte Flair. I just don't. She has the name, but then I look at some of her in-ring work. It's all right, but I'm not going to be like, wow, I'm not jumping off the radar. Like, I really want to watch Charlotte Flair. I want to pay money for an event to go watch Charlotte Flair. I just don't.
I think a hot take that can be taken off, not just from this event, but I think a wrestler like Ember Moon is a way better performer to the crowd than Charlotte Flair is. And it's nothing against Charlotte Flair. She is incredible. She is good. But it comes off as a classic WWE style of wrestling. It's the classic style of just beat down your opponent, do some heel tactics, play with the crowd, act like you're going to lose, and then you win. It's cliche, and it's kind of boring sometimes. For WWE to really kind of bring into that audience, they need to start going after what AEW does. AEW lets their guys do what they want to do. They don't have an entire boardroom of writers figuring out who's going to win and what goes where. It's all up to them. They all do it themselves. I think that's something that WWE should have faith in. But I will say they definitely got right Io Shirai winning, because I've been saying forever that Io Shirai is one of the most underrated women wrestlers that the WWE has, let alone WWE or NXT. I think Io Shirai is incredible. This different kind of character where she's, this emo, and she's like gritty, and she's kind of she's mad at everything. It's awesome. I was a little unsure when they decided to give her, that number one contenders match, because like, oh, you're going to play against Charlotte Flair, who's obviously playing the heel. So who are you going to put him up against? Then they bring Rhea Ripley in just to kind of bring it to a new elevation, because Rhea Ripley is also incredible. I think it was a great main event, perfect for what they were trying to accomplish. And I think Io Shirai definitely should have a lengthy title run just to show how good she is, because she is incredible. If you haven't watched Io Shirai before or haven't paid attention, pay attention now, because she is great. She's incredible.
Yeah, more ladder matches with Io Shirai. The more high risk, the higher the reward. And Io Shirai is I think she's the star in NXT. Adam Cole, obviously, we know, but Io Shirai, especially, I mean, even heel or face, she's going to get a large pop from crowds. And it was another statement into just who she is as a character and her work. and it's wonderful to watch. So that will do it for this episode. Thank you, David, for joining me. I will leave his social media in the description. Do we want to talk about Backlash next Sunday? Because
no, we don't.
No, we don't.
Not.
All right,
I'm
good. We don't want to talk about the greatest wrestling match ever between Edge and Orton, the one that we already saw that was no disqualification, last man standing.
You can call a match the greatest wrestling match of all time after it's happened, not before. You're just letting everybody down because you're immediately thinking that it's going to be so great, and then when it doesn't fulfill your expectations, you're like, oh, that was sad. I wasn't ready for that. Edge is Edge, but he's in his mid 40s to late 40s, mid to late 40s. Like, he can't have the greatest match of all time, even though he's incredible and I love him. But you can't. You just can't. So That's all we're gonna say about that.
Yeah. Well, looks like we won't be videoing Backlash, but who knows? Who knows? Maybe you'll have a change of heart. Maybe Backlash will be great.
I will watch it. I will give it a chance, and then we'll talk about it after. We'll figure out a plan.
Sounds good. Make sure to give us a follow on our socials. We'll leave them in the description as well, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.